Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel and to our Hobbit adventure. We are in episode 9 at this point. This one is called Barrels Out of Bond by Blobz. So we have escaped the spiders, and I guess technically what this is meaning that is we have escaped imprisoned by the elves as well, because we're going to be going down the forest river in barrels. So let's jump into the little blurb here in the beginning, and then we'll get into our rules. And I wrote down, of course, the digits that we have to insert here, so I want to make sure I had those here to do. So let's jump into it. So out they went under the overhanging branches of the trees on either bank. Bilbo wondered what the dwarves were feeling and whether a lot of water was getting into their barrels. Some of those that bobbed along by him in the gloom seemed pretty low in the water, and he guessed that these had dwarves inside. So, normal Sudoku, like usual, every row, column, and 3x3 box will contain the digits 1 through 9, once each. We're going to begin by transcribing the digits for the Elven Circle for the previous puzzle. So that's these guys here. Again, I have those down below. If you don't want to go back and find those, I'll put them in once we start our solve, and you can just go from there. Digits in cages, some of the small clue have given. So we have a bunch of killer cages kind of littered about. These two add to 10, these to 15, etc., etc. And finally, not finally, sorry, there's two more. Along the forest river, which is this blue line that goes all the way through here, we are going to treat this as a German whisper because adjacent digits differ by at least 5. So whatever this one is, this will be at least 5 away, this one at least 5 away from that one, and so on and so forth down the line. And now finally, we have digits in barrels, which are these brown circles, are going to be odd. So these just mean these are all odd digits. So those are the rules. Nothing pretty short today for rule sets. Usually there's a couple more, I think, in there, but we're going back into this thing. So this one is back down to a 2-star, so it shouldn't be too difficult. We'll find out as we go. And of course, as always, the links to all of these puzzles will be in the description below, including to this one. If you have not done any of those previously, go back and do them in order. There's a story here to deal with, so it makes it more fun to go down that route. Anyway, that said, links in the description below as noted. Let's get started and continue our journey. So we're going to put these guys in first. They are, am I in the right setting? I'm not. 5, 8, 1, and 7. Now that we have that, let's get ourselves organized and start thinking. Let's start with putting in our odd digits. 1, 3, 7, and 9. We can't ever put a 5 on a German whisper, so don't even bother. You're not 1 or 7. You're not 7. Okay, now what does any of that tell us? Because there's going to have to be some way we can get ourselves onto this river and determining all of our highs and lows. Well, this guy here actually has a 9-6. I just noticed that because we can't use the 8-7 variety of 15. That means you're not a 9 at least. Let's color this guy and see if it tells us anything. Or put some coloring on it, I should say. Not that we're designating anything specific. Okay, so what does this tell us, if anything? We've got a couple of spots that have been reduced. Can we use those to get a foothold on this thing? And I don't think any of these other killer cages actually tell us much at this point. Because there's 2 ways to make 15. That this guy was reduced, but this guy can have both options. There's a ton of ways to make 11s. There's a ton of ways to make 10s. So I don't see those as being all that helpful at the moment. So let's start digging into this guy and see what we can figure out. Okay, there's a couple little things I think I can see. Like this guy here is somewhat pinched. So can this ever be a 3 or a 7? Well, if it's a 3, these are both low or high digits, because you mean 7s and 9s are the only options. That won't work. Oop. And 7's the same thing. If this is high, these are both low, 1 and 3. That won't work. Same's going to apply here, actually, because even though these are not in a row, they still see each other. So that gives us a 1-9 pair, so you're not a 1. What else does that do? Are we starting to give ourselves a reduction as to what this could be? Because if we think about it, if this is a 3, or both of them are 3s, because they would be so if they are both low, well, this has to be either 8 or 9, but it can't be 9, so 8 is an opportunity. Now, if these are both high, we have a 7 here, so this would be either a 1 or a 2. That's not really telling me a whole lot, though. Is there anything else like that that we can use? What about you? Because you have a restriction here. Now, these are the same. So they're either 1, 3, which means this would be 8 or 9, or it's a 7, 9, which means this would be a 2. And it's slightly reduced, but nothing crazy, I don't think. How about you, then? Because I really don't see anything that's just obvious staring us in the face. If these are low digits, this is, again, 8 or 9. And if they are highs, it is 2. So we're trying to get ourselves into a triple here. Although I don't know how useful that is. This guy can't be a 9, by the way. Okay. So I guess we're going to go down the line here and see what we can find. If these are lows, this is an 8, because it'd be a 1, 3, or a 3, 3, or a 1, 3, but either way there is a 3. Can't use a 9. And if they're both high, again, it's 1 or 2. It's not telling us a whole lot. Okay. And it doesn't feel like this guy particularly is not going to be useful. This guy probably not as either, because it doesn't have anything looking at it. Is there anything else in here that gives us a reduction of anything? Because again, if you're a 1, you're a 7, 9, and you end up being a 2. Oh wait, this can never be a 1. Let's look at our coloring. So if you were to put a 1 here, what do you put here? These are the same polarities. Now if this is a 9, that's a 1, 3. Oh, we can go into here too. This can't be a 3 or a 7 because these are the same polarity. And then if you put 3 or 7 here, you break this guy. So that is a 1-9 pair, so you're not a 1. Okay, what does that tell us? Did this get reduced now that this is a 3-7? No, it didn't, because the same conditions still apply. This is a 3. This is also a 3. And this would be an 8. You'd be a 9, you'd be a 1. That would be a 3. It's a lot of 3s there, but I mean one of those two. I don't think that tells us much, though. And if you were a 7, this is just some 1-2 pair. That's a 7. Oh, wait. Can this be a 7? Because if this is a 7, this has to be a 9. But this also has to be a 9. Yeah, this can't be 7. Make sure I did that correctly. It's a 7. Yeah, that can't be. This has to be a 3. Okay, well, there we go. We got ourselves moving. Good. This has to be 1. This has to be 2. 2, you have to be 3, you have to be 1, 9, 1. These guys are the high digits, so they are the 7, 9. You have to be a 2. And we can go on here. This is 8. This is not 2. These are the 7, 9. This is the 8. You have to be the high digits. That's a 7, 9, which means you are the low. Okay. Now, what did that do for us? We have to have something now we can start working with. Is it some Sudoku medium? Or is it something else? One of those will be a 1. That's not necessarily too helpful. One of these will be a 2. What about those 3s? Because we said we had a ton of those. Yeah, this has to be a 3. One of these had to be a 3, which means this has to be a 3. One of those. Let's keep going down this line for a second and see what happens. I don't think we're getting any more there. Let's try these 8s and maybe the 9s, because we do have a little bit of work there. There's nothing really with the 7s, so. Let's see. One of those 3, that's not helpful. One of these 3, that's not helpful. You can't be an 8. But any of those 3 could, so that's not looking very good. I don't think we have much on the 9s, though, to really work with here. We know one of those will be because of the 6-9 pair, but... Okay, well, that didn't seem to get us anywhere. Now let's maybe start thinking about our 11 cages. Because what can this be? It can't be 9-2, 8-3, or 7-4, so it is a 6-5, which means you two are a 4-8. We can do that. Okay, good. 4 and 8. That gives us a little bit more. Okay, now that does resolve this guy, because previously we said it could be these 3, but now we've removed this one, so this is our 8. All of those, again, one of those 2 will mark it. Might as well. We're there. Let's probably go through some of these other cages to see what we can get out of them. Just want to take another quick glance. Okay. Can we do anything with these 10s? They're kind of straddling these regions, but there are limitations to them. Like, this could only be a 4 if it was the low end, so this would be the 6. This could only be the 6 or the 8, and it can't be an 8, because this would have to be a 2. So this is the 6. Wait, hold on. Hold on. Almost jumped to a conclusion there. Let's try that again. This could be a 6. Can't be 8. Can't be 7. Nah, it could be 9. Okay, no, I've jumped way ahead on that one. This then could be a 4 or a 1. Let's go over here maybe, see what else we can do. Can't be 1, 3, can't be 2, because this would be an 8. It could be a 4, which means this would be a 6. Or it could be a 6 or a 7, can't be a 7. So this is just a 6-4. Let's make sure that's right before I jump forward. If we're thinking about low, can't be 1, can't be 3, can't be 2, because that would be 8. Would then be 4. High digits. Can't be 8, can't be 9, so it's either 6 or 7. It can't be 7 because this would be 3. Can't be. So this is a 6-4. Okay, so this is a 1-9. Good. Which means this is 7-9. Good. Does that give us anything on these other digits now? Yeah, this is a 9 by Sudoku. This is a 7, which means this is a 1. Okay. Doesn't really reduce this guy because it could still be anything. One of these will be our 7. This is a 2-7 pair. Let's put that in. And let's put you guys in as well, just to put them. They must be 4, 5, and 6. This is not 6. All right. What's next on the list? Let's see. Anywhere in here we can do some work. One of these will be an 8. Is there anything going on this row we can work with? This could still be a 2, so we can't reduce those yet. The 5 could be any of those 3. The 7 has to go here. There we go. Because obviously can't put 7 in those. Can't put 7 over here. That's 7. Okay, now that's going to tell us the 2-3 pair and the 5-8 pair, which is going to tell us what these are, and then it's going to tell us this digit. These are what, 4 and 6, which means you are 5. That gives us 6 and 5, which is going to give us the 4 and the 6. This is now a given 4. These two have to be 2 and 6. We can do that. So that's going to open up the 7 and the 2. So what are you guys? We need 1, 2, and 5. Well, this has to be the 1. This has to be the 2. This has to be the 5. Beautiful. All right, next on the list. Where are we going? Do we think about this 15? I think we do, because we have a ton of stuff looking at here. The 15 has to be from 9, 8, 7, or 6. These can't be 9, 8, or 7, so this is the 6 and the 9, which means you are the 7 and the 9, which then forces this to be a 9. Okay. Can we finalize our 9s at all? No, we've got an X-wing left on those. Let's try going down this list real quick again. See if we can find something. 7's there. No, not really. Just because we don't have anything really given, I guess, on rows or columns. I guess this one here is probably the best we could work with. Although I don't necessarily see how it helps us at this moment, but one of those two is a 6. Problem is both of them could be. One of those is a 5. That's sort of helpful because it gives us an X-wing on 5, so it just pushes one of these to be. And then one of these will be as well. It's not getting us anywhere, so let's try something else. And if we don't find anything, of course, we'll just move on to another place. Probably the 11 clue will help us once we get through this real quick. This is a 2, so we do have more work. One of those will be a 2, which means I think this one is a 2, right? None of these can be 2s. One of these is, which means none of these are this is. Yep, 2, 5. Wait, no. Almost, again, got way ahead of myself. Let's think about this row, though. Where does the 5 go? It can't go in any of these, so it must go here. Get those out of the way. Then these two digits will be 4 and 7. Not quite enough there. All right, let's see if we can figure out this 11 clue, or go back over to this guy. No, I don't see anything there. Let's try the 11. Can't be 9, 2. Could be a lot of things, though, I think, because 8, 3 will work, 7, 4 will work. Now, in certain orders, of course. And, well, 6, 5 won't work. Okay, let's put these options in the way that they can go. Again, no 9, 2. 8, 3 could occur if this was the 8 and this was the 3. 7, 4 could occur if this was the 7, this was the 4. And then again, we said 6, 5 doesn't work. And the 4, 7 actually says this is the 8. Okay, there we go. Had to just get through that process. And we got there eventually. All right, did that do anything for the 8s now? Because we got an extra... Yes, we can put the 5 and the 8. That's going to push this to be the 8 and this to be the 8. Perfect. And I think that's it on 8age. It is. All right, what's the next place to look? The 6 says 4 and 6. These two are a 3, 5 pair, so this has to be the 3. This has to be the 5. Had a brain fart there for a second. That's not. This 5 says you are the 5. And what are these two digits? 1, which has to go here, and 6, I think. Yes, which makes 4 and 6. These become a 2, 7. This is the only place for the 7s. This is the only place for a 2. 3 and 2. What are you? Yours to give and 4. Let's see. Let's go up and down, I guess. We need 6, 4, and 9. This one here, C's 4 and 9. Okay, there we go. That's 6. That forces 9 and 6. This has to then be 4. These two are 3 and 5. We can put the 5 and the 3. No, we can't because we just broke in this puzzle. What did I do? Goodness gracious. Did I... 6, 4, and 9, right? 6, 4, 9. This has to be 6. This would have to be 9, 6. This would have to be 4. Oh, why did I say 3, 5? Not 3, 5. Because this is the 3. This is a 9 is what I meant to say. I don't know what's going on up here right now, but it's not working very well. This has to be a 1. This has to be a 7, which means this is the 4 and 7. Now we can put the 5 and the 4. Okay, we got there. Couple little stumbling blocks there, but we figured it out eventually. 1892, it's about normal. Again, very fun puzzle. Not too difficult, but a little tricky seeing this interaction here. I think if I didn't see that, I might have been sitting there for a few minutes trying to figure out how the heck to differentiate this puzzle and get into it. But luckily I was looking in that area because we were able to reduce some of these options so that it became kind of the focal point there. But anyway, again, excellent puzzle. That was Barrel Out of Bonds. That was the 9th episode of our Hobbit's journey. I don't remember what the next one is called, to be honest. It came out, I think, yesterday from when I'm recording this. Or actually, maybe it was the week before. Shoot, brain, no worky. But anyway, we'll be getting into that one next, and we'll see that one next week. Hope y'all are enjoying these as usual, and we'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.